Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. I was absent yesterday. We had some wild weather, power outage, and by the time I got myself to myself and got through all the phone calls and the checking in with everyone, it was too late for tarot. So I'm back today catching up with some things, and the theme today is family. And the first thing we're going to be looking at is a Richard Eden story. And Richard Eden claims that his revelation about spare proves what palace sources have been telling him for a while now, namely that Harry is desperate for a reconciliation with the royals. And the revelation about Harry is about spare, and we know that there's a paperback version. It's finally coming out just in time to overshadow the King's meeting with the heads of government, the Commonwealth's meeting in Simmer later this year, October. But never mind that. Apparently this is all a good thing because he's not writing any new material in the book, or not publishing any new material, new salacious material in the book, and he's also not going to be doing any more interviews. And this is meant to be a sort of sign of a truce to the royals, to say all is forgiven and I want to reconcile with you, and let's pretend it's all fine and have me back. So we've looked at this numerous times, but today I want to look at the story from a slightly different angle with the Mind's Eye Tarot. Haven't used them for a while, these cards for a while. Going to be having a look at this notion that Harry wants to reconcile. I want to know why he wants to allegedly reconcile, according to palace sources and according to Richard Eden. What's it about? Is it about the money? Is it about the ego that can't bear being a nobody in California, that's having to go on 4 royal tours, that King of Pentacles that I keep seeing in my readings? That would be the ego, the status thing. Or is it about softer things, emotional things? Does he genuinely miss them, care about them, want to reconcile with them? His own emotional state. Is he bored? Is he lonely? Is he depressed? Is he regretful? I want to know that. I also want to know about Madame. Is Madame pushing for a reconciliation behind the scenes? Does Madame want to do that half in, half out thing? I've been seeing signs of that in readings lately as well. So perhaps she's pushing for this reconciliation because, selling handbags from Rwandan ladies isn't exactly, and a bit of jam isn't exactly going to make her gazillions, is it now? And then I'm going to ask at the end, likelihood of reconciliation, not back in as working royals. I think that ship has well and truly sailed, but back in terms of reconciliation, first of all with the King, and then second of all with the Prince of Wales, Harry, not Meghan, Harry. Chances of ever reconnecting with either of those two very, very close family members. So that's what we're going to look at today. Reasons. We've heard what Richard Eden has to say, and now we want to know why. What's motivating Harry? Truly money, ego, family feeling. Is it possible he has family feeling? His own personal emotions, Meghan pushing behind the scenes, and then chances of this ever working out for Harry. So that's what we've got today. I think we've done enough shuffling and enough talking, and let's get to it. Mind's Eye Tarot, remind you, it's all tarot for fun and entertainment. It is obviously my opinion, speculation. I just read energy here, and there is of course a disclaimer in the box below, and I will as ever talk you through the cards and what they mean. I do very specific questions for each card. I feel that in this particular forum it's the best way to do this. It's not necessarily the way I do it when I'm doing readings for my own friends and family, but here we go. 6 of Wands in reverse, a failure card, a significant failure, and that is our underlying energy. Big flop. It's a home homecoming card, interestingly, when we're talking about potential homecomings and reconciliations. He was supposed to be spending his birthday months in the UK, but that's all out the window seemingly, and he's having to go and pretend to do work in New York in hopes of bumping into Prince William, who isn't going to be there, rather amusingly. But it's a triumphal return when it's upright, and when it's in the reverse, abject failure, slinking home with your tail between your legs, because you have been the biggest loser. Really, that is of course the energy of the card that I am describing. Six of Wands in reverse sits under all of this. Lots of cards to get through. The overall situation, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with the King of Swords in reverse. This is publishing. Very much. It's showing up a lot at the moment, obviously, because the book is in the news and we're hearing all about it. Publishing, it was a dagger through the heart, that book, that's for sure, to the King, to Prince William in particular, and the Queen. Let's not forget Queen Camilla also was accused of all kinds of terrible things in the book. The King of Swords, I'm feeling that with that card in the reverse, that sword down, it's a kind of silence. This paperback is sliding out. I don't think J.R. Moehringer wants anything to do with it, the ghostwriter. We haven't heard from him in ages. So there's no new material, no new interviews. Also King of Swords in reverse. Swords in reverse can be deceptive cards, can be cruel and calculating and cutting and malicious and very strategic. I think really there is potential for that kind of strategic energy there and the cruelty and the malice and all of that. But I think just generally it's this notion of this book kind of just slipping out. They obviously think they're going to make some money on it, otherwise they wouldn't be bothering. But I get this feeling of almost a book that is silenced. Were you silenced or were you silent? That kind of question. The book that seemingly has been silenced at some level. So let's look at Harry. Does he want to reconcile? Is it true that he's desperate to reconcile? What do we get? Nine of Cups. It's a dream. It's a wish fulfillment. It's a very emotional card. Nine of Cups. Very, very emotional. This is something he wants. Seemingly, the palace sources are onto something. Richard Eden might be onto something too, because Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment, a dream come true. And it's quite a self-indulgent card. I always get that feeling off the Nine of Cups, that maybe no sense of self-awareness, no sense of guilt or shame or anything like that, that it's coming from a place of indulgence, a self-indulgence, a spoilt brat kind of energy coming through for me. And of course, I'm just reading energy here and expressing my opinion and speculating. So, generally, why does he want to reconcile, allegedly? Just a general question. We'll go into the specifics next. Ace of Cups. Oh, he's very, very, very upset. He is upset. Upright, it's love, it's unconditional love, new love it can be, finding new love, being open with your emotions and honest and clear about them, expressing them freely to people. And in reverse, very sad, can be very shut off emotionally. If not expressing emotion, then it can be quite cold and withdrawn. He's feeling the grey rocking, he's feeling the icing out. It's definitely affecting him emotionally. This is a very unhappy man. We've got two cup cards here, and I do think that this is coming from an emotional place. I had my doubts when I was going through the questions that I wanted answers to in this reading. I have given a column for emotions, but it's showing up immediately when I ask the general question, why? What's motivating this? Ace of Cups in reverse is the biggest emotional card that you can possibly get. So interesting. Okay, let's look at reasons. Reason number one, money. Is it all about money? Is he broke? Is he needing a top up? Is he needing the bank of dad? I've got Knight of Swords, which is it's a rushing energy. That for me is more about security. And I think that in the money space in this reading, money position, that's a better word, to get the Knight of Swords tells me that he can't afford his private security costs. He can't afford to pay for himself, his beloved wife, and his mysteriously absent or invisible children. Knight of Swords, if he goes back to the UK, if he weasels his way back in, then of course he gets security. Not necessarily anymore. It's very interesting that Prince Andrew's security has been removed by the king, or is going to be removed this coming September. The king is no longer going to pay for it out of his own private pocket, and one can only speculate that he might be doing that because the has-been is trying to insert himself back into the royal family for this precise reason, showing up energetically for me as an energy reader, and so I have to express that opinion. Tell us about status. I very often get the King of Pentacles in my readings at the moment, which shows me that Harry still thinks he's something special. He really should be king. So let's see, is it all about not liking the way he's been reduced in California to a handbag carrier? Oh, it is. Get the Hanged Man. He hates this sense of being cut out, of being powerless. The Hanged Man, if anyone is powerless, it's the Hanged Man. You're literally a prisoner. You're being punished. You're being hung out to dry. You're being disempowered and victimized. And so there it is, major arcana. This is a prime motivator for him, according to these cards, according to the energy of the cards, my opinion. There it is, the Hanged Man. Very clear answer to that question. He can't stand it. He wants to be back in circulation. He wants to be Mr. Big Shot, and with that uniform on and all the medals draped all over, and people bowing and scraping, and not having to worry about money and security and all the flashing lights and things that'll go along with it all. So important again. It's amazing how you can raise two, let's say, alleged narcissists by telling them that they are princes and they are special, and people have to bow and scrape to them from the moment that they are born or even before. That is my opinion. So let's see where we are headed next. We are heading to the emotions here. We've already seen emotions. Tell me, does he genuinely care about his family, miss them, feel emotionally connected to them? And I've got the King of Wands in reverse. That's not an emotional card. It's a card of somebody who is angry, who's very volatile, can be a bit of a bully, can be very difficult, very full of drama, and shouting and ranting and stuff like that. It's not love. Sometimes, and this is me as an armchair psychologist, sometimes love can express itself in that way. If you don't know any better, if you've been raised in a household where emotions are expressed through shouting and tantrums and throwing things and slamming doors. And I think that poor Harry was raised in such an environment, and I do think that the Spencers are quite good at that themselves, and I don't think the Windsors are slackers when it comes to shouting and stuff like that as well. My armchair psychology little insight for the day is that he might mistake all of the shoutiness for love. And he's only got herself to have fights with, and apparently they do. I should imagine in those scenarios he comes off second best. He told us that. He said that when he had one of his temper tantrums, his famous temper tantrums, she said, "I'm out of here unless you do something about it." And I think that shocked him into perhaps not expressing it, his volatility as much as he was used to in the past. Wild speculation here, of course, from me, just as a tarot reader. But that card showing up in that situation is quite interesting. I think he misses those kind of shouting matches with people, you know, being pushed in the dog bowl and having his necklace ripped. At least it was attention in its own warped way. And I think it's the attention and the drama he misses. Again, armchair psychologist here, nothing professional about this insight at all. tell me about his own emotional state. We've already got Ace of Cups in reverse. Is he lonely, sad, depressed, remorseful? What can we see? What can we say about she's shown up? Oh dear. I've got the Queen of Wands, and she is in reverse. So he's there's the matching pair, the King of Wands, the Queen of Wands. And as I was saying when I was describing the energy that was coming through for me in the King of Wands card, there she is as the one who's difficult and shouty, and he doesn't know how to deal with her, possibly, I'm speculating, her drama and her tantrums and her volatility, which could make him feel very insecure and very uncomfortable. So I'm not getting woe and depression and misery. I've already got it over here with the Ace of Cups. I'm getting something else. I'm getting something extra from universe in the answer to these two questions about his emotional state and his emotional connection with his family. Interesting insights. So let's move on to her, to Megan, and ask if she is pushing for this reconciliation. What does she feel about this? I've got the Queen of Cups in reverse. This is somebody who is, in my opinion, manipulative when she's in reverse. Queen of Cups, it could be. In reverse, difficult emotionally, blows hot and cold, mostly cold, but can use emotions to gain an advantage, to make people do what she wants them to do. And of course, it's the Mummy Diana card. And of course, she did always think that she was going to be Diana too, and the most popular royal, and people would be lining the streets and sobbing when she went past. So I think that she still has a hankering after that Diana role, which we all know isn't possible now. If anyone's going to have a sort of Diana energy about them, it's going to be the Princess of Wales, because she is going through this terrible personal trauma. But I think she still yearns for that kind of role, and I think there is still that somewhat manipulative energy around the whole Mummy Diana thing, which she might be using to manipulate Harry. This again is me speculating. So let's see if she still yearns for the half in, half out thing. I've been getting signs of that with my Queen of Swords card, which keeps popping up in readings, which I read in those scenarios as someone who thinks they're a bit of a diplomat and a bit of a politician even, and going to enjoy the status of being a player on the international stage. Is this what she's after? And I've got the Knight of Wands in reverse. The Knight of Wands is about travel, a very energetic card, movement, moving home, wandering the earth in quite an exciting way, bringing theatre and drama with them, and passion and entertainment, but it's in reverse. So I don't think she feels that she can get it through the royals. I think she thinks she can do it without the royals, which is interesting. Don't need them. I can do it on my own. I remember saying that in a reading previously, quite recently. And it's the same kind of energy is coming through for me here. It's almost telling me that, well, if you go back, has been, I will carry on doing the roiling without you. I don't need you either. It's quite an interesting energy coming off that card, because I very often read the Knight of Wands as Harry energy. It's got the same energy as the King of Wands in reverse. Difficult, dramatic, tantrums, very volatile, prone to be hot-headed and erratic. And it also is going home energy. Instead of moving away energy, and we have the failure and the skulking back home with tail between its legs, and similar with this Knight of Wands in reverse. I think she thinks she's better off without him at some level, which is sliding through in the energy, almost as much as this book is sliding out. This is kind of sliding in energetically for me. to the reconciliation, the potential for reconciliation, purely at a personal level. The King first. Is Harry going to manage with the King? I've got the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Maybe not, because this is the charity card, the sharing card, the it's like a handshake for me in this situation, and there's a rejection of it, of you've taken too much, you've done too much, you've exploited your position too much, and I'm not getting a big hearty welcome home here. I think that Harry has done too much. He's cost the King too much at some level. I don't think the King is an unforgiving person. We talked about that very recently. But in terms of, well, you can come back and I'll give you a home and I'll give you all the security again and pay for everything and everything will be smoothed over. There's a lot here that is unresolved with that Six of Pentacles in reverse, that the King feels he has given and given and given and given to Harry, and it's been thankless. Harry also might feel that. He might feel that everything has been unfair, and the smaller bedroom and the sausage and the dog bowl and all of that. It's all too terrible. This is not a good outcome card for those two. How about the two brothers? Chances of reconciliation at a personal level. And where are we? We've got the Six of Cups. It is possible. Interesting. Interesting that this is showing up as more possible than that. Sixes are about harmony and love, just generally. So there it is. I would say that that is only possible minus her, minus our Queen of Wands, wherever she is. There she is, minus the Queen of Wands. That's my feeling about this. Come home on your own, tail between your legs, and apologize and do all the stuff. There is potential for reconciliation. It is one of the reconciliation cards, the Six of Cups. Something, and I don't want to speculate what the something might be, because there are some quite unpleasant somethings that could happen, but something might force these two together again at some point, where they are reminded of their old relationship. I don't think their old relationship was quite as wonderful as we were led to believe, but there is something in here that is possible at some stage between these two, that we might just see them standing together somewhere and talking to each other. It's more about being bonded together by the past than by future prospects. I have to say that's coming through quite strongly for me, that it's their past ties that will connect them rather than future adventures that the two are likely to go on in their lives. Wow. So quite a lot in here, a lot to ponder, but it is all built on this failure, the Six of Wands that is sitting in reverse underneath all of these cards. And some of these cards are quite difficult cards. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.